I'm surprised at how short they are. I guess they're only half hour, right?
So they're 40. I think they're 42 minutes.
They fly by.
They fly by hugely.
Because when it's something so good, it's going to fly by.
Well, and once again, my criticism is very simple. Why not make a fucking 60-minute episode? However, I will say HBO episodes tend to drag, and I think it's because our minds are used to a 45-minute episode.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
So every television show on TV, like on network TV, is
you don't have to explain it. This isn't a question. You're such a dick. I know. Isn't it great?
Hey kids, I heard that in I saw Santa's sleigh, and I was like, New York. That's not the right one.
By the way, our mics are hot. Very hot right now.
Very hot. That means we're
Hot
on,
mics?
right?
You got a
Hot.
sweaty,
Okay, let me-
sweaty hot mic.
La 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 la
Sweaty
la.
balls.
Can I get you a refill on your eggnog? Get you something to eat? Drive you out in the middle of nowhere and leave you for dead?
That wasn't the one.
I know. But that was better. Hey, and welcome to Three and a Half Gentlemen, the podcast, where three of the four hosts provide a refined and intellectual analysis to movies from our private collections, and a guest who tries desperately to keep up. We'll let you decide which host is which, but for now, my name is Sean, and with me, as always, are my co-hosts, Jeremiah,
What up, yo? Margot.
Todd, Eddie,
Yes, it's a bit nippy out.
and tonight we welcome our very special guest, Chris.
Hello.
There we go.
Nailed it.
With every review, we tell you how many drinks it takes to get through each movie selection. At the end of the podcast, we'll rate the movie based on a scale of 0 to 5. 0 is a perfect film, which you can watch stone cold sober, and 5 is a terrible film that you must be blackout drunk on eggnog to enjoy. In addition to our review, we pair our selection with a cocktail that we hope will enhance the viewing experience. We invite you now to shake, stir, or mix the cocktail that we've chosen and settle in for what we hope will be an engaging review. For legal reasons, we don't condone or encourage anyone under the age of 21 to drink along with us. And of course, because we live in a ridiculous society where people are stupid,
Stupid.
I've heard this before.
we must ask you, please don't drink and drive if you're listening to us in the car. With that, Jeremiah, what movie do we have rolling in our Christmas playlist tonight?
That was cute.
Thank you.
Tonight, we have the 1989 Christmas classic, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
Nailed it.
Got it. Written by John Hughes, this holiday favorite is highly regarded as the best entry of the Vacation franchise and follows the lives of the Griswold family. Now, this film stars Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo, Juliette Lewis, Jonathan Galecki.
Galecki.
Yeah,
Oh,
Johnny
they helped
Galecki.
it.
Yeah.
Galecki.
I didn't know he was here. And Randy Quaid as Cousin Eddie.
Cousin Eddie.
Eddie, take us through the cocktail.
As we mentioned, with each movie, we try to pair the tone, feel, and overall impact of the story with a cocktail. For instance, when we watch the Bond movie, which we've never have, we'll pair it with a vodka martini shaken, not stirred, with a lemon peel. Sometimes the drink will be referenced
will, damn
directly
it.
be in the film, and other times the drink will be simply be inspired by the film. Tonight,
Trying to do that like Sean.
Oh, you guys did the whole switcheroo on
Yeah.
that. Oh, so I
Actually,
thought-
Jeremy did because he didn't like the description of the cocktail.
No, I just didn't have any courage to fucking do it.
Tonight, since this is our first official Christmas movie, I kind of disagree. 'Cause
I thought Die
Die
Hard,
Hard
was
Well,
too.
Die Hard was, officially still up for grabs as a Christmas
well-
movie, even though I think, according to this podcast, it certainly is a Christmas movie.
Absolutely.
There's Christmas trees in it.
And it's on Christmas freaking Eve.
There's Christmas lights in it.
Yeah.
Jeremiah has offered to pick the cocktail. Jeremiah, what are we drinking tonight?
How many times do you say Jeremiah?
Say Jeremiah has offered to pick the cocktail.
Jeremiah is not doing the cocktail tonight.
Oh, we said about that, huh?
That's what he was just pointing at.
Sean has offered to pick the cocktail. Sean, what are we drinking tonight?
Sean.
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 Okay, you say it so commandingly.
You like the way I said it, don't you?
No.
Whoa.
Tonight's cocktail. I'm already drunk.
That was the word. I was like, nah, I ain't going there.
Tonight's cocktail is a spiked eggnog. Like Clark Griswold in the film, we decided to partake in this killer Christmas cocktail, mixing amaretto liqueur with some white rum and a dash of nutmeg to the top of eggnog that we pre-bought from the store.
It's delicious.
While we aren't drinking them out of Wally World Moose head cups like Cousin Eddie, this cocktail is sure to be a winner at any family gathering. For a complete recipe, please visit our website at thegentlemanpodcast.com, where we post, or where's our Instagram, Jer?
The
Gentleman podcast, where we post a picture every Friday before our Monday release of the new episode.
Is that what it says?
Well, yeah, we improvise. On
We
that
go
one.
out off script here.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
To give a little background of our selection process for the first season, we'll be reviewing movies that are important to each of us. These are the movies that we feel have, in some way, shaped how stories have been told throughout time, and even they'll be told in the future on screen. Wow, that was my first time doing that.
We
script.
won't be talking about the movie straight through. Instead, we'll be letting our conversations flow naturally. That said, we'll be touching on different film aspects, including plot, characters, direction, music, cinematography, and anything else that might come up.
Probably not going to talk about cinematography.
For some reason, I don't know why. Every time we say naturally, I always think of Point Break.
Naturally, brah.
All right. So this is kind of a dark horse Christmas movie, I feel like. It's not exactly a mainstream... Or maybe it is
I'm
mainstream.
sorry, what movie were we doing?
Christmas Vacation.
Oh, I
I thought we were doing Bad
I
Santa.
watch this movie every single year without failure.
So is this a family tradition that you've done? Or
Absolutely.
Okay, so your family watches this every single
There's
year.
a handful of movies that we watch every single year, and this happens to be one of them.
Okay, so my problem is Kim. When Kim moved in,
Mm-hmm.
she forced me to watch this movie for the first time. I had never seen it. It was never part of our family Christmas traditions like Die Hard and White Christmas and Meet Me in St. Louis. Like those are the movies that our family always watched. So this was completely new and foreign to me.
Bro, what about you? What did we watch?
This was in there, actually. I feel like this was a movie that you watch every Christmas with A Christmas Story and Home Alone and Die
What,
Hard.
me?
Didn't you watch National Lampoon? Somebody showed me this movie.
No,
and
it was
I was too
not.
young to understand
It was not me because I was like Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 for life.
Somehow I watched this movie, and I just remember
Have
I
you
was
guys
being too
met?
young. Yes.
Jesus.
So overall, though, nowadays, like for the past, 10 years, I watch this movie pretty much every Christmas time of the year. The funny thing is, though, this year I was like, oh, it's gonna be on. Like, I have no problem watching it. It took me fucking forever to find this movie. It's like, is it not on anything?
Well, they
How's-
still make you pay for it because it's such a good movie.
Yeah, so Kim, when she moved in, had two movies. This was one of them, but it was on DVD. So last year I bought it on Blu-ray just so I could, actually watch
Not
the
be snapper
official version. Okay, so the movie begins with the Griswold family in Chicago. I want to first remark on how flippin' cold Chicago is in December. Has anyone been to Chicago in December?
I've only been to Chicago when it's very hot and very sticky, and your clothes and your underwears are going up your butt.
Are you talking about when they're driving for the
So,
Christmas
no.
tree?
Yeah, it is frigid. It is literally frigid.
I was there in February, and it was minus 11. It was the only
Oh, that's
time I've ever
right.
So the opening scene of the movie is the family taking the station wagon to get their Christmas tree, their special Christmas tree.
Yes.
I'm going to say this is the only part of the movie I have any problem with.
Okay.
And it starts off great when he drives underneath the log truck. That's hilarious, okay? But when he gets to the Christmas tree, when they find it finally, and Russ says, "Dad, did you bring a saw?" And he doesn't. In the next scene, he's torn it out, and it's on top of his car. How the hell do you get that out of the ground?
Well, I
in
mean,
the snow.
That's a big-ass tree.
that's kind of what I was talking about with Chicago, too, is the ground is frozen. There's no way that tree comes out. But, I mean, are we splitting hairs? Should we really be looking at this movie from a practical standpoint? The guy drove under a log truck in the first 15 seconds of the movie.
Yeah, Fast and Furious stole that clip.
Yes, it was. This is where they got it. Yes.
What, part 5? Is it Fast and the Furious, or is it the Furious 5?
No, was the only one of that whole franchise that's
Tokyo
good
Drift.
is Tokyo Drift. Way to steal my thunder.
Yeah. We're calling that.
It was
Tokyo
an old
Drift.
Bow Wow.
Talking about that whole entrance scene though, with how like instantly you see Clark like this jerk is on my ass right away.
Yeah.
It's just like
And he's got that shit-eating grin that only Chevy Chase can pull off.
I like
Because
how,
I was the guy driving the blue truck.
I like how he tells his family look away and he just drives and he flips them off and smiles.
So one of the things that I don't appreciate about Clark Griswold as a character is the fact that he's kind of a
fucking dangerous
screw up.
No,
I mean, just like you said, he goes all the way to get a tree without any ability to cut the tree down. He takes his hard-earned money and puts a deposit down on a bonus that might come. He makes horribly bad decisions, and I'm not sure if it's just because he's dumb.
No, I feel like that's what makes it endearing. That's why you love the guy.
kinda reminds
You
me of
know, he's the
myself,
last
actually.
true family man, as he says in the movie.
I think he's a little psychotic, man. I mean, he puts his family in danger. I mean, he doesn't even think twice.
All right, so they get the tree on top of the car. They bring it home. The tree is clearly too big for their house, which... Honestly, physical humor is not my favorite. This shit is hilarious.
I feel like the tree got bigger, though, right?
It's not going in the front yard, Russ. It's going in the living room.
And
That tree got like 3 times bigger than it was on the first time we saw it in the house. Like, hey, that's a whole different fucking tree.
I love how
a big tree.
I love how super condescending he is to everyone around him, because it's just the right type of like nice asshole where he's like telling it
someone
like
like
it
that.
is. I don't know anyone like that.
And that's when you actually get the, I think the neighbors get introduced, though, right?
Right, so we've got neighbors of
Todd and
Elaine
Margot.
I
Dennis.
know Elaine. No,
Todd and Margot,
The
Margot.
yuppie couples.
the yuppie couple.
Did anyone else feel like that was them at one point in their life? Because
Never.
I saw myself in both families. Like, I saw myself with Celine and I as
You've
that
looked
couple.
down on your neighbors before?
No, as in like I'm that couple with the looking like
She makes you shower before you touch her.
we worked out. That was a good workout. What, really have sex? Shower first. And then now I'm like, see it through the eyes of Clark with the kids. It's like, oh my God. And those other neighbors just look down at me. It's like, fuck you guys. I wasn't talking to you, sir. I was talking to her. Bend over and I'll show you.
Bend over, I'll show
But
you.
you put a tree that big.
Wasn't talking to you.
Don't you know some of those couples right there, those yuppie couples, are just like, you know, I don't know, Todd, what do you think?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know, Margot.
Why is the
Why is
carpet
the
wet?
carpet wet?
No, but I think that it does definitely give you this dichotomy between a family that's a little crazy and has fun for the holidays and someone who just is like a party pooper. Like, they just are so absorbed with themselves, they don't understand. And that's really the purpose of the whole movie, right? Is to find the meaning of family and to appreciate what you have, even if it might be crazy and stupid. I think that's
I'll agree with that.
the part
I'll
of
agree with
it,
that.
yeah.
John Hughes, what do you think about him writing this movie and not directing this movie?
So I have seen how many? Wait, what is John Hughes? What else has he done?
Well, in this late in the 80s, early 90s, this is his like little resume he's done. He's done Uncle Buck.
Never seen it.
Oh, bite one.
Great Outdoors.
I saw that.
Okay.
Great movie.
All right. He also did, I believe, Curly Sue, The Home
Never saw
Alones.
No, he didn't do the Home Alone.
Yes, he did.
That was Christopher Columbus.
He produced it.
No, he found the Americas.
Christopher Columbus and 1492 Pictures.
Actually, technically, America Vespucci
And-
found America.
And Plane, Trains, and Automobile.
And was he the
Never seen
writer?
that
Oh, great.
Time out.
movies.
Was he the
Oh,
writer
man.
of
He was
Breakfast
the-
Club and Ferris?
And directed, I
he
think,
directed all those movies, but
yeah.
in the late 80s, he's kind of went into the whole family gathering.
So I need to be indoctrinated into the realm of John Hughes, because I never really have seen. I've never seen The Breakfast Club. I've seen Ferris, but I've never seen Pretty in Pink. I've never seen 16 Candles. I've never seen all those movies.
Didn't
so
you do the first Vacations, by the way?
I don't have any.
I don't have that.
It's not in my notes.
I can look it up right now since I'm cheating.
I'm pretty sure that he's the one who actually wrote Vacation.
So in his quest to have a fun old-fashioned Christmas, he has all of his family come over. So he's got the in-laws from both sides, or his parents and the in-laws come to the house. And one of the things that I think I don't understand, and maybe it's just because of the family that I'm from, we were always excited to have all the family under one roof and everyone packed in, and it was uncomfortable, but it was always fun for the holidays. We never really fought. We never really had these knockdown, drag-out problems. Is that a real? I mean, I know that happens like over the Thanksgiving and Christmas table.
I feel like this is his first time to have both sides of the family come to his home that he owns, and that's what is causing it all.
So is this a different, like, because I know there's always a problem with the in-laws and where everyone's coming for Christmas, right? What side of the family you're going to go to. And I don't have kids. I'm not married. Is there a whole different, you guys, is there a whole different feel when you're the host? Like when you have to host people?
Oh, you're talking about me?
yeah,
Yeah. I wasn't
I
looking at
still
you,
do my
Jeremy.
damnedest not to host.
I was now. So, Chris, go on.
We go to my parents' house in Arizona for Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
and then we stay at Kelly's parents' house for Christmas. So we don't host as of yet, but as you get older, I think that the kids are supposed to take over, right? So they're
Right.
trying to get both sides of the parents to the house, and that's where the stress comes from.
I get that. And then you have siblings, and all of a sudden, which in-laws come over. It becomes kind of difficult.
And you talk about these moles, that are changing color and everything like that.
You can rub my corn for a...
Fucking crazy. That's my take on it.
Well, you have a very big extended, widespread
it's fucking
family.
Crazy, and that's the hardest part is having the older grandparents, my parents, let loose of the reign. So it's like they're holding on tight to that. So it's like, okay, my turn. Like, it's my turn now. Like, I'm not driving all the way out there every year. It gets harder and harder every year. So it's like, okay, how about you guys come over now to this year? And having that for me was extremely hard for both sides to let go of that. It's both sides wanted to hold on to that because they're so used to that every year. It's like, oh, come over to my house. Come over to my house.
But you know how it is when you have kids. You can kind of hold that up, being like, "We're not going to come because we have kids and we're set here." So
that was the biggest. That was the biggest
That's
problem that I had as with my sister having kids. She wanted to do Christmas morning at her house, and I'm like, "No, we do Christmas morning at mom and dad's house, like we've done since we were children. Why are you changing the thing?" And said, "Well, I want the kids to wake up and go down to the Christmas tree." And I remember when I was a kid, I didn't have that option. We went to we opened all our presents at home. Okay, we did do that. But then we had to uproot everything and go to grandma's house where there were no gifts. So why not just go one place? It just bothers me, Christy, if you're listening.
It
still bothers me.
Why didn't your grandma just buy you presents? It would have been
Well,
fun.
no, she did. But it was,
I had two different daddies, so I had to go one house and another house.
Double the presents.
anyway, okay. So now we get to the part of Christmas lights where he's putting Christmas lights on the outside of his house.
No, instantly you see Clark, like, as soon as everyone gets inside the house, he's like, well, I'm going to be outside for the rest of the holidays. I'm not coming back inside the house.
So it says in the movie he put 25,000 twinkle lights on his house. That's considerable.
No, it sucks for Randy, the son or something. What's his name? Randy?
Yeah.
It sucks for him, man. He's just
Rusty.
like
It's rusty, yeah.
Rusty.
How long was he outside for? Was he outside the whole fucking day?
Felt like he was outside for weekends.
How many times did he fall
According to the
off
movie, he was
house?
out there for an hour and the whole house was done.
all I
He did
know
the
is-
same night.
Depending the way he was doing this, it was just like, dude, this guy's gonna be here forever. Like, he doesn't have that many lights.
So Eddie, you just moved into your house last year or the year before?
Last year.
And you were apartment living. You hadn't really done it before.
Yes.
Did you put Christmas lights up
Last year?
Yeah.
No.
This year though was your
Yes.
first year.
Yes. This
Welcome
year.
to the party.
Yeah, we've
pal.
always done the apartment like over the windows.
Yeah.
I was like, so last year, when we rented the house, we did the
that's right.
string of lights.
That's right.
We always did like
The string, the one
yeah,
string.
the string around the whole. So that's
The
what
lights
we
that
did.
That's
last,
good, that's
like,
good.
The last that stays up for like the whole year.
Yeah.
or anything like
It
that.
stays up.
Please
at least
turn them off. No one will see
It
them.
stays up till Easter at least Easter.
Well,
Oh, man.
if you make it halfway, you just got to go around the horn. That's just the rule.
Yeah,
The
it's
only
downhill.
The only reason I would ever take it off is if actually like the wind like tears half of it down. Like, oh shit, half of it's down. I just like
Man.
I know. That's
So
what,
are you
that's
doing
different.
C9
That's
this
bad.
year?
C9 lights?
Yeah,
yes.
we did the C9.
I
yeah,
want-
yeah, no LED bullshit.
You got to be like
lot
Clark.
of people don't know about that,
Every bulb
Dude,
staple.
He is the luckiest dude in the world. Like the guy should have had like 20 different broken. Like
Yeah.
that ladder thing was just amazing.
Well, like I said, how many times did he fall off the fucking house?
It was a funny movie. It was definitely it made you laugh at. certain
Okay, but
things.
hold on. First off, if
He didn't
he
lock
comes
the
down
ladder.
and that ladder doesn't lock and he comes down, he doesn't end up at the bottom standing straight up holding the ladder. That's not how gravity
I
works.
know.
The ladder hits
This
the
is
house all the way down.
1989. So the other thing that bothers me is we don't, coming from California, appreciate what it's like to put up Christmas lights in the ice and snow.
Nope.
Because
Why
we're
we
wearing
live here.
t-shirts. Yeah, we're wearing t-shirts, shorts, and sandals trying to put lights up. It's a little bit different challenge there, I think.
Maybe they should put it up earlier before it snows.
I say just leave them up.
Do an
all
Eddie.
year. Oh, cousin Eddie.
Oh, Cousin Eddie.
I like Cousin Eddie. Oh, man.
All right, so then
You were going to say the one where he's dumping
or he's
it.
done. Oh,
Sorry
the
about
cold.
it. I digress.
The cold, yeah, the morning, and your cousin's dumping shit into
sorry.
chemical toilet into your septic tank. Woo! Anyway, so this is actually where we come to meet cousin Eddie, who I think is of all the characters in this movie is the most developed.
And if you ask me, it's Randy Quaid's best performance of any movie he's ever been in.
Was he in anything else? Other
Oh,
than
Independence Day,
He's in
man.
Independence Day.
He saved
love
the world.
Independence Day.
He
Dozens of
did
things.
save the
He's been in
world.
dozens of things.
Dozens.
Did you know? Hey, did you? Well
He's
played.
been in dozens of movies.
Well
He's
played.
been a star for 50 years.
Did you know the
Dozens.
dickie that he wears wasn't written into the script? It was actually his wife that suggested it.
I love it. So Cousin Eddie to me is everyone has that family member who kind of rolls into town that you don't really necessarily appreciate their way of life, and they always fuck up your holiday. No?
Some of us who are that family member think we make it better.
If you don't know who it is in your family, it's you.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
one year we were going to Arizona and we took the motorhome and we put a blow up penguin on top of it that was 14 feet. We came into town with this inflatable penguin. We were very much
That's so
trying to
funny
be
because
his
you're
white
the
trash.
exact opposite of Ash, which is funny.
It's fantastic. We also, well, I won't go into that story. Anyway, so Cousin Eddie admits that they're living out of their RV. They lost their house and acreage, and they don't have money to buy presents for the
Not
kids.
even gas on the way home.
Yeah. I mean, talk about bad decisions. Then this is something that I understand that he's a sympathetic character and he lost everything, but make a good decision. Don't drive across the country without a method back. Like, where's your exit strategy?
What makes you
it
think about
was-
meeting him
it
would make
was
you think
Clark.
you
Yeah,
plan
that's
this
true.
out?
It was Clark. He planned it out. Like
Clark
he,
did not plan for Eddie to be there.
No,
He's
Eddie,
saying that he
Cousin
planned
Eddie
to go to Clark's house so he could take care of him.
free
Oh,
handouts.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he
That
told
makes
like
more
Clark,
sense.
like, yeah, I'm going to be here for about a month. And like, no, Clark, like, what?
Don't you get too sweet on her. We're taking it with us when we leave here next month. What'd you say? Yeah, he goes, I wouldn't be more surprised if I woke up with my ass sewn to my forehead or something.
Once again, it's this sarcastic. Like, that's the best part of Clark is he's sarcastically honest, but it cuts through the script so well.
I like the part when it's Clark actually doing things like that, and he's just very witty and you dry humor, and he fucking cuts it like that, rather than him like getting hit by a fucking 2x4 four fucking times in the attic. You
and
know,
it's the physical humor that kind of
still
takes
makes you giggle.
It takes away from, I think, the movie. Like when he's in the attic, like you're saying, getting hit by 2x4s, or when he greases up that sled and goes down. It's shit like that makes me go, oh, come on, that's unnecessary. You don't need it.
Hey.
You can be witty.
1989.
Yeah,
that's
you
what
told
it
me
was.
to do a
It was
little
1989.
research, and I found this out. Those home movies that are up there, this was based on a short story, Christmas 1959. And that's when you look at the movie he puts in. It actually says Christmas 1955. But it's based on that's what he's watching. Exactly.
Was there cameras at that time at 1955? None of
Yes.
none of our family had that.
It
You had
was
to be
8
fucking
millimeter.
No. There was
there was something like
there
that.
was
rich to have good quality. That was a good
and you
quality.
didn't have to be rich. It was 8mm. Yeah, my grandfather was incredibly poor growing up in Brooklyn, and he was like 9 when he got his first 8mm camera, and that thing was like crank. It was something that was available at the time, and he was born in 33, 31, 32, somewhere in there.
So I was gonna say,
Yeah.
our side we didn't get one.
yeah, throw a dart.
We didn't get anything till what, the 70s? Our family?
Well-
maybe? The 80s? Like there was a big gap
So I
until we
will-
got
no,
our
so
first.
And then
technology.
they took the rock off of us. We started living.
I will say this though, technology took a leap too. So you went from like old film cameras that had become reasonable to digital technology and tape technology, and the prices just exploded, just like it did when it went from tape
Yeah.
to digital.
Oh, yeah.
So we were kind of in a sandwich generation where we got the best technology for the cheap price. Other people, it was not that. Like I don't know if everybody remembers Back to the Future.
Yep.
And you know, you have who has 2 television
you
sets, and
remember Back to
they built the television set that's in the house. Like my grandfather, I remember he built his television set in 1940 something, and that was a big thing. Like you got a kit and you built it. Other people went to the store. He just built it. He just figured out how to do it. So I'm just saying that it's different. It's not like it is today where everyone has an iPad.
We're gonna talk about Back to the Future in season 2.
Sorry, yes. So
Hey,
one,
I didn't hear you start off like you normally do with what the budget of this movie was. And I happen to know what it was. It was
What is the budget?
$27 million budget.
$27 million.
$27 fucking million.
Where did that
27
money
million.
go?
Yeah, exactly.
It went to all those 25,000 fucking twinkle
It
lights
was
on
super
his
high
head.
because there's no special effects.
Did it go to all like the stuff?
Ghostbusters made $30 million,
Yeah.
and guess what? They came out of that with $71 million is what they made out of that.
Really?
National Lampoon.
Yeah. The final domestic gross was
They just
71
fucking
million.
released again National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation on a different steel case, not the one that you have, a whole brand new one.
I'm sorry, there's a new one.
There is a new one.
God.
It is rated 7.6 on IMDb.
Like you
Richter
said, like
scale?
you said last time, sometimes they're wrong.
Sometimes these stills are
Before you move on away from Eddie, did you know another fun fact that in this movie,
Ooh, I like the fun fact.
yeah, Eddie's son Rocky, the little pudgy guy, doesn't say one word throughout the entire movie.
Also in season 2, he doesn't. Or I mean, not season 2. Vegas
Vacation.
He doesn't say shit
Doesn't say
because he
one
sewed
word.
his mouth shut.
Okay, so I'm going to pause right here because I want a little bit of a backstory because I don't know the history of the vacation movies because I haven't seen, and I hate jumping into a trilogy or a quadrilogy. What is this? What is this now? It's 5 movies.
I'm pretty sure
if
that's
you're
not
doing
the
this right
word,
now,
no.
this is the
5.
3rd movie
I'm
out
not
of the whole
the
bunch.
brightest
So
guy,
this is the 3rd movie. So we've got
Yes.
Vacation where they go to Wally World,
And you got the European
European Vacation.
which was disappointing.
was pretty bad.
Christmas
Christmas
Vacation,
Vacation.
which was this movie that we're reviewing.
In Vegas.
Vegas Vacation with
Vacation,
Wayne
Which was
Newton.
actually funny.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought it was pretty good too.
And then the new
Even though
Vacation-
Rusty in all these movies is the older brother.
Yeah, it's weird.
And guess what? In this movie, he's the younger brother.
So fucking weird.
So how did that happen?
I think it's because John Hughes was writing the script and he said, I want a scene where the grandfather is going to look at a hot girl plastered to the ceiling because it's 1989. And in order to do that, we have to make him the younger brother.
No reason for the brother and sister to have shared that bedroom with the bunk beds. Okay, and then the grandparents should have went into the other room that the brother and sister.
Well, the grandparents are used to
Why?
This is a solid argument. Huh?
I'm just trying to say is like there was no reason for the brother and sister to share
I think
a bed.
John Hughes was just writing this like, man, I just need to get this one out of here, man.
It was funny though. Because who was that in the picture? Was that Gloria Estefan or?
I don't know.
Gloria
No.
Estefan.
Gloria
Are you
Estefan.
shitting
It said Gloria. I was trying to read it myself.
You know,
like,
that
who
was
is that?
that was one of my crushes.
Look
when
that
I
up.
was-
It does not say Gloria.
That was one of my crushes growing up was Gloria Estefan.
It said
I
Gloria.
loved her.
Come on, baby, shake your body.
Oh God, I loved her so much. Beauty.
Let's talk about Clark. Is he unfaithful or he's just like, he's always into that?
No, he's a lecherous man. Chris, what do you think?
I think that he puts a lot of time and effort into his family, which is a great thing. And I think that when someone goes and shows him a little extra attention, he's finally like, oh, they're coming after me. I think he was not the most popular guy, and I think he makes some horrible decisions, and I don't think that he gets a lot of love for it. So it's like Christy Brinkley. Oh, but that's another vacation. But still.
But I do think he's a bad decision maker. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the dude used money to put a down payment on a pool in Chicago without getting his bonus. That just to me screams just dumb. Just
He got
dumb.
Jelly of the Month Club.
I mean,
Yeah, he got Jelly of the Month
to
Club.
be the devil's advocate there, he had 16 straight years of working there. He never not got it working there. So he was expecting, 16 straight
And I
years.
understand that, but what is the word bonus?
I know. I understand it. I'm just
Yeah,
trying to
but
be the
they were
devil's
doing
advocate.
really good. He did really good in the year with his non-varnished cereal coated. All right, and then Mr. Shelley really fucked him over.
Well, and he
I allowed
admitted
to
to
say
it
that?
later. Yeah, no,
Okay,
it's good.
okay.
Did you not know that was coming? Instantly, I knew that was coming. I was just like, okay. As soon as he said, "Oh, thank you for the Christmas card this year, Mister," and instantly,
Shelley.
I'm
pretty sure Shelley.
Yeah, Shelley. But Shelley looks over at his assistant, like Christmas cards, and the guy was like, "Yeah, they're
Corporate.
and then he still kept didn't move an inch, like so.
Hey, did you notice when he's doing that? All the presidents in the back
They're all
are
the same,
identical.
Yeah,
dude.
well, and, okay,
all the same president.
So, do you have what present it is?
I
in your
don't
notes?
have- I don't have what it is.
So I don't either. But I remember watching it last year with Kim, and we actually looked up what the gift was. So it is online. That everyone was getting him the same. I think it was like a desk something, like a desk clock or a desk something.
Did you
I
know
gotta
that-
look.
Did you know that the boss was actually Bill Murray's older brother?
I did know that.
Yes.
Well, after noon the day, I knew that.
But you gotta understand, like he's like in every like type of like National Lampoon, or like no, he's on National Lampoons, but
He's the
like
guy who talks like this.
all the time. Like
Yeah,
he's every.
Brian
like,
What do you want, Griswold?
Brian,
is it Brian Doyle Murray?
Yeah, Brian Doyle Murray.
Yeah.
Nice.
So-
It's funny though with Clark, like when you saw the suits walking into the workplace.
Kiss my ass.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very,
Kiss your ass. Kiss his ass.
Kiss his ass. Eat shit.
that
So
was probably
I will
the
say,
funnest
Merry
part.
Christmas.
So
Happy Hanukkah.
There's a show called Boston Legal, and they totally stole that bit, and it was Denny Crane. And Danny Crane he was the best lawyer in all of Boston, and he'd go, never lost a case, or he would say shit like that, like, oh, it was hysterical.
Why do I imagine you, Sean, as Frank?
Who's Frank?
Shirley.
Shelley?
Yeah.
Mr.
Like,
Shelley.
Mr. Shelley.
That's
like
not who I am, though. I'm not that
like
guy.
Christmas cards, corporate. I don't give a fuck. Like, what do you mean we budget?
Get
cuts.
someone on the
Are
phone
you
for
kidding
me.
me? No. Wow.
Get someone while I'm waiting.
That's you, Sean.
No, it's not. Let me tell you what. I actually, so I work for a couple companies, and one of my favorite things to do is to figure out if we can, first of all, do bonuses and then hand out bonuses. It literally is the funnest thing in the world because we have this big party, and it's so fun to me
That's
to do.
good to hear.
It's the funnest thing.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
It's
You have to have it. You can't.
No,
be a
no,
dick
it
and
makes
not
me
have
so
it.
happy because I ride them all year. I'm an asshole all year, and it's my one chance to be.
I'm an asshole.
I am an asshole all year. I am, and it's my one chance to be like nice because I'm not very nice.
I like that. I like to hear that, Sean. That's good to hear.
That's really good.
I'm
Sean.
growing. Well, Christmas is also my second favorite holiday. So
What's your first?
Halloween.
Oh, I get that.
But he doesn't like scary movies. He does not
No,
like
I
scary
do not
movies.
like scary movies.
You hear what happened in this house?
In this house, yeah, I heard it
Right
in this
there?
house. I'm not worried about it.
Okay.
Anyway,
I
so
don't
no
give a
Christmas
shit.
bonuses.
What's gonna happen to me?
No Christmas bonuses. It's replaced with Jelly of the Month Club, which I didn't even know there was such a thing. Like, how many flavors of jelly are there? Is there even 12 flavors of jelly?
I think it's more like a beer of the month club type thing. It's Janet from Knoxville made her blueberry jam and wants to send that shit out. I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to lie.
It's an insult to injury. Let's put it that way.
But is it though? Because jelly is delicious.
That.
Anyway, so then we've got another kind of snide comment by Clark, which says, "I would like to, talk to my boss face to face." And Eddie takes it literally, goes over, steals the boss.
Are we skipping the whole turkey chutney?
Yeah, because
Yeah.
there's 3 parts
What about
actually
when
to
the
this
turkey
movie.
gets
Yeah.
fucking
There's
blown
the
up.
beginning.
Oh, Christmas Eve dinner! I totally missed it.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm
it's
sorry. I'm
like-
sorry. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about the family dinner
Let's
because
back up. I was like, are we wrapping up?
Yeah,
I've been
yeah,
drinking.
yeah.
I've been drinking. What?
Well, when great grandma grandpa come
Yeah,
over,
exactly.
Aunt Bethany.
Oh, Aunt Bethany.
we got
Yeah,
to
and they
we
fucking
gotta
wrap
talk
their
about the
cat
family
up.
dinner.
Okay.
The family dinner is like the third installment of this whole movie, and this is when it actually picks up with all the fucking funny lines.
So I know you
and
weren't
shit.
a super fan of this movie, but you liked this part.
I love this part.
There was some slow parts. I agree with that. And so there's 3 parts of this movie.
4.
So the family comes over for dinner, for Christmas Eve dinner, and we've got Aunt Bethany, who is clearly got some sort of issue, which we're not going to dwell on the fact that she's probably got a medical issue. We're just going to say that they're using it hilariously. Okay.
All right, my last fun fact. I'll
Oh,
bring
no.
up here, okay. Did you know that Mae Questel, who is that actress, was the voice of Betty Boop in 1931?
Yes, it is.
I did know that actually.
Did you really?
So
wow, you guys need to get out more.
No. I tell you why I knew that. I tell you,
You need to get out more.
I'll tell you why I knew that, because last year I was watching this movie for the 5th time with Kim, and I couldn't place her voice. I was wondering because I thought she was Jessica Rabbit for some reason, and I was like,
That'd be
"Ooh,
a good guess."
It sounded a little like she
Yeah.
could have been in her younger days, and then I was like, "Oh shit!" That was very good.
Well, yeah.
So, do we talk at all about the fact that the jelly, the Jello was
Wrapped.
Can somebody explain to me what happened with the Jello and with the cat and with the leaky package?
So overall, that reminds me of just like our grandma giving us a gift that you totally know is like, what the hell is in this present? Like,
Where did you find this in your house?
And why does it smell? Like we
So
get,
the two
we get
presents-
presents like that from our grandma every now and then.
Yeah.
We grew up like that, dude.
Yes, we
The
grew up
2
like
presents you're talking about, she made a Jello mold,
Right.
which is lime Jello,
With cat food in it.
that she wrapped, and then the other present she wrapped her cat. So one of the cat started shaking. They put it on a tree.
Yeah, because we haven't really talked about Snot, which is the dog.
Oh God!
At all.
Right.
Yeah, you should see the pear on that dog.
I think the funniest character in this movie is Uncle Lewis, man, where he's just so fed up with his wife.
Hey,
He's-
Is that the
Clark.
smoker? Is that the
Yeah, she's
cigar
like-
smoker
Yeah,
with
Clark, if
the
you're not doing
dyes
anything
his hair?
Productive. Go in the family room and get my sky.
He's asked. They're asking you to pray, or
he goes, the blessing!
Grace,
The blessing!
yeah. They want you to say Grace. Grace, she died 30 years ago.
Not Grace, Grace!
I pledge allegiance
Does everyone-
to the flag.
oh my god! And then you see cousin Eddie stand up and he, yeah, 'cause he was, that was awesome.
Hand
Quaid
over
is
his heart.
so good in this movie because if you ever watch him like in behind the scenes, he's doing some funny shit that he's just like, looking around like,
Yeah, he's in character the whole time.
But I don't think he's in character. I think this is him.
Well, that might be him.
Actually,
I like it.
his
Then.
cousin
Good for
Eddie.
him.
I do. I think that this is his personal, his personal choices and brought him to.
So I want to talk about the
Back then, I wouldn't agree with you, but you see what the shit he does now.
Somebody's after him. The FBI. He moved to Canada to avoid taxes. I don't know.
He's actually been penalized for that. I don't know. I'm not getting into that.
This is the first time, for some reason, the grandparents of the movie, I just felt I recognized them like as our parents and my in-laws.
Because you were getting Jello molds for Christmas.
Because for some reason Clark and his mom and his dad, like the mom was still all over him, thinking like, if when the lights didn't work, I can imagine them. They're really good.
Yeah.
Like our mom is
very supportive.
Very supportive. Like and she loves us, and then the dad's just like, hey, if you need my help, I'll help you. But I'm gonna go take it. I'm gonna be in the bed.
Yeah.
Like he's very supportive too. And then the in-laws is just very like just giving you shit a little bit. It's like, oh my god. And then like
Doris, she's drinking her martini. She's got a little.
I miss
Doris Roberts.
Doris Roberts is so fucking
Of all
good.
the characters that I connected with, it was her. It was
Doris Roberts.
Yeah, exactly.
me drinking my martini.
Hey,
just
you kids can't see what a horrible waste of time this was.
It was hilarious.
What was their husband? Because he was always talking shit on Clark. Like,
Was it Art? Or
Yeah,
was
the
it-
little lights aren't twinkling, Art.
Thanks, Art. Thank
Yeah,
you for-
Clark.
So, I mean, and Christmas lights are always difficult because you always have that one strand that just fucking won't go, or that fuse that keeps blowing. It's the most frustrating thing in the world. You can put them up the same way 50 times, and a different section will go
I have
out
to do it
every
on
time.
Sunday. I don't want to talk about this.
But
so
still, go
this
ahead.
is with the scene where the squirrel and the dog and the house gets all fucking destroyed and shit.
Hey, I heard about this. One more thing. The Hughes, the guy, didn't like squirrels. He hated squirrels.
Who hated squirrels?
John Hughes?
John
Hughes hated him.
Why would he put a fucking squirrel in?
That's why he put it in there, because it was a terrifying
Because
character.
it was the most intimidating thing you could think of. Not a raccoon, a squirrel. Well, and once again, it kind of ties back to the beginning of the movie, the fact that he got this tree from the forest and brought it into his house.
Forest.
All right, whatever.
And the old grandma is like, "Do you hear something?"
Yeah, everyone else. She's the one
Couldn't
that
hear it.
and
The
she's-
fucking guys are like, "You kind of hear a fucking
Yeah. Yeah. You could hear the dunk truck drove through the living room.
So I do want to ask a question, because this is something that has kind of been unique to my family. I'm looking at that Christmas tree, and the lights are haphazard. I can see all the cords. They're gross. The ornaments are like on half the tree. It's just not very well decorated. Is this like when you were able to decorate trees when you were a kid? Did you get to actually touch the ornaments and put them on the tree?
Yes.
Yes.
And this is how our tree looked.
We put tinsel on our tree.
This is how
back
our
in the
tree
day.
looked. And
No,
it was-
sometimes our tree looked like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
Yes.
Where it didn't look like a tree, but it was like, oh.
Oh yeah, it
Remember
was
those
like,
trees?
It was like a third of that fucking size. It wasn't even like close. It was so tiny. But overall, every
We put
angle
everything on top of it to fill it up.
We put on a couple books too, so it was
so it
higher.
fucking so it
nailed it.
leveled up and everything.
You guys are throwing boxes of Cheerios on it?
We did
All
everything
right.
like that. Dude.
So this is a normal way, because when I was a kid growing up, we were not allowed to touch the tree, and if we did place an ornament on the tree, my mother would come around and actually change where it was on the tree,
Mary
so that it
Rose?
was
Really?
adequately spaced.
Hey, but at least you got to put it on the tree.
Well, then she
Can't
came
bitch
up,
about that.
Then she came up with a guilt tree, which was basically
No
like
way.
a shit tree in the other room that we could do, and her tree was perfect.
I really hope she's listening.
Well,
to
no,
this.
what's
Yeah.
really funny is now I call her and she comes over and does my tree because I don't want to touch it.
You were never
Hey,
raised.
you
how
know
to
what you
put-
need to do? You need to
never
call
all
her.
these years, it's coming out now.
He was never raised to put
No,
ornaments on
you
his fucking
call her and
tree.
say, "Hey, Mom, can you come decorate my shit tree?" That's what you need to do. Put another tree in the other room.
No, it's
you can
really-
decorate Kim's
no,
room.
it's really
Kim's
no,
tree.
That's what's really funny is I have the tree in the living room, and then we have the roommate tree, which is Kim's tree. It's the shit tree.
Kim, I love you.
All right. Christmas Eve dinner.
She put a lot of effort into this turkey, right? Or no?
Well, okay, so here's my another holiday question. My mom has always been the one who makes the holiday meals, and we don't like. I don't know. They've never had a bad turkey. We've never had a bad Thanksgiving. Has there been like incidents where you've lost the turkey?
Well, not in most people's houses, but I'm sure there are.
Well, I'm sure there are, but few and far between.
You can't cook a turkey like that. Let's put it this way, okay?
No.
because it was golden brown outside. They even commented, "This looks half as good before a car cooking." And he hit that thing, and it just fucking. That doesn't happen.
And then my favorite is when they're chewing it.
Yeah.
And you can
It's not my favorite. It's like beef jerky.
Did you see the wife like doing this and
You throw it out the side of her mouth. Oh man.
That was hilarious. That was how they were eating. That was just like,
Well, and then the Jello has the cat food in it, and freaking cousin Eddie is chowing down.
I don't know what it is, but it's really good.
So that's one of the things. Jello.
He does the same thing in Vegas Vacation.
Oh, he does.
Hey, I'll take a little bit of the green and a little bit of the yellow. Sorry, you don't see it. Doesn't make sense to you.
So after a disastrous Christmas Eve dinner, that's when he finds out he has no bonus. And this is the perfect time to take a little bit of a break and come back with fresh cocktails, fresh eggnog in our moose-headed glasses,
well, I can't wait.
and enjoy some amaretto.
Yeah, we only got like 15 minutes after this.
Amaretto by morning.
If that thing had 9 lives, she just spent them all.
That's pretty good. Hey, if you don't mind, I'd like to fumigate this chair. It's still got some good life left in it.
So we're finishing up with the Christmas Eve dinner, and that was disgusting. Yes, we're rolling.
Yeah. Really?
But it smells, bro. Just get it.
I went up to the sky to the lords of the gods and shit.
You should not be burping toward the Lord's.
Burps are heavier than air, they say.
You want to talk about how he was dreaming about the pool?
Yeah.
And like he was
How
like having
disappointing it is she doesn't actually come out of the water.
So I have a question for you.
Some side.
I have not seen, obviously, Vacation, the
Oh,
original
I thought you
Vacation
were gonna say
movie.
you haven't seen.
But there was a
Keep going.
scene apparently with Phoebe Cates or Christy Brinkley.
Okay, Phoebe Cates' Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Way off.
You're
Totally
getting
different.
You're crossing your movies here, buddy.
Whatever. So
You
there
don't
was
cross
one with
streams.
Christy Brinkley
Don't cross
in a
Driving a
pool.
Ferrari.
In a pool. She goes in the pool.
She does.
So is there any correlation between his desire for a pool in his backyard and that scene?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I just think he's just.
Way to
you
go,
know,
John Hughes. Okay.
No, he makes a bad decision. He jumps in and starts yelling because it's so damn cold, and everyone comes out of the building and starts looking down at him. And his
'cause
wife's
he's
just
naked,
like,
yeah.
"You fucking idiot."
So one of the things that really bothers me about this movie, and I will say this is a negative, a huge negative, is that it relies so much on the situational and physical comedy. I feel like it doesn't progress from a story perspective. And I know that it's a simple comedy movie. It's a National Lampoon movie. We should not be looking for this life-changing Christmas story. No, it's fine. But my issue is that the story actually doesn't progress. Like, all it is he gets beaten down, and then he gets saved, or his salvation comes in an absolutely ridiculous manner when he gets his boss delivered to him by cousin Eddie, and he holds him up at gunpoint.
Well, don't forget he loses his shit beforehand, which is what makes Cousin Eddie go do this favor for him, because it's the one thing he can actually do for him for Christmas, because it doesn't cost a damn thing.
And I get that, and that's wonderful, but it's this unrealistic, and I'm not looking for realism, but it's just like he's bailed out by this crazy circumstance. It's like the movie's going 180 degrees in one direction. Wait, I don't know math. 90 degrees one way. It's going one
180
way.
is the other direction.
It's all right, Sean. We're going to cut this out. So keep going.
It's going one way the
Just let
whole
you know.
movie, and then all of a sudden it turns around and goes completely the other way on a whim. Like,
Well, I don't see that. I think he was going downhill because everything turned over and he'd hit rock bottom.
What?
He couldn't be positive anymore.
Yes.
The only way out of it was, I want to get that mother, blah, 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 whatever. Well, that was a great line.
Jesus
Whatever he
Christ.
said. Yeah.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Where's the admiral?
Exactly. The only thing Cousin Eddie do, because he's a simpleton, is, hey, he really wants his boss here. I'm going to go get his ass.
Yeah, I totally see what you're saying, because from that whole situation, it was like the tree lights up, burns up, and everything like that. Then the cat gets electrocuted, and then the squirrel comes out. And then the dog comes out of nowhere and just like rips up everything and destroys the house and everything like that. And then he just completely loses his shit. He's over with the family and whatnot. Takes out a chainsaw, gets a new tree.
Yeah.
I mean, he just completely loses it.
Dual
everything like
post is
that.
fixed.
And then seriously, like this Christmas bonus is like going to save the, it's going to save this
save
year,
the whole-
save
the
the whole
holidays.
thing, And then that was it.
Yeah.
You just saw a man from there thinking I got some type of redemption, and just
Opened a package of shit.
pretty much.
I also agree, because it kind of shows, well, I agree with Chris and Jeremiah here, that overall, you see from the very beginning of the movie of like he's trying his best. He has the best attitude. He bit off a lot more than he can chew. So you can see that from the very beginning. Like him putting on the lights. He wants to live up to his dad's what his dad did. It looks like you can instantly see that in the
or how he foresaw his dad. Foresaw his dad doing
he
it.
saw his dad doing it this way, and you later found down the road, Dad, how did you do it? Oh, a little friend Jack. I think he said, my friend Jack.
And that's like seriously like the best heart part of the film. It was the father and son moment, like explaining like, son, this is your time.
This is your time, and son, it was just like this for me too. And I just had to go through it. It was not as peachy as you thought it was. It was fucking hard for me too.
Well, and one of the most dangerous things I think is trying to recapture. Like I feel like part of it, like when he's in the attic, is trying to recapture the 1955 or 1959 feeling of when he was a kid and Christmas was magical and Christmas was one. He wants to recreate that, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with trying to recreate that.
He bit off more than you chew.
Well, but hold on. If you look at what Sean's saying here, that's completely different, right? He's remembering it from childhood, right? Which is completely different from when you're an adult and you have to make it happen.
Actually make it happen,
right?
yeah.
So it's completely different.
Yes.
So when you think this was the best holiday I ever had, I'm going to try to recreate that, and then you turn out and it turns out to be a pile of shit.
Because you're in charge of it.
Because you're in charge of it, yeah.
And it all falls apart. I get that. I mean, I do get that.
That's why he broke down after everything. Like he lost his tree. Like he had unexpected guests, cousin Eddie and his kids and the dog,
right?
And the turkey tasted like.
How did his house not catch on fire when that tree went up?
How did I catch on fire with those lights?
Yeah, 25,000 twinkle lights.
The other thing was this house his parents?
No,
I feel like it was his house.
Okay, I thought maybe like the parents gave him this house. The house looked very similar in the video.
See, that's the thing is I feel like he built this life. I feel like he built the whole world around his childhood. And then all of a sudden it was all crashing around him, and he had a break. He had that moment where, when he's standing in front of basically everything and the whole world is going to shit, he's got that moment where everything falls apart at once, but then he regains his composure. I mean, I think
Cousin Eddie helped him.
Well, before Cousin Eddie comes out, you see them all sitting right next to the tree, and they're just, it's all about being together with their families and everything.
He was saying the story that the night before Christmas or something like that.
But this is not the first time in the movie we saw that, right? When he loses his shit when he can't get the lights on, he kicks Santa Claus out of the goddamn sleigh and beats the shit out of Rudolph, Yeah, and then it finally turns on, so you can tell he was on edge throughout the whole time.
Fucking little psychotic. Man.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying he wasn't.
I feel like there's a lot going on in this movie.
That's probably like some like David Fincher movie or something like that. Like he's really a serial killer.
The real Christmas Vacation.
Yeah.
It really should have been called Christmas Staycation. Anyway. Okay.
Christmas Staycation sounds good.
So he has his boss right in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie brings him in, and he's holding him basically at as a hostage.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got this great scene where the SWAT team just ambushes the house. My question is, and this is, I understand this movie is not realistic, but is this person so important? I mean, he runs a cereal varnish company. Is there a reason we have SWAT coming into the house? Or is it just for a funny effect?
I think John Hughes is just like, we just need to fucking have SWATs. We need to make sure they're crashing through the windows. We need all the squad cars and everything like that. Let's just make it a grand exit.
Like we just did Die Hard, and they barely got SWAT going to knock it.
But I feel like, I feel like in this movie,
I mean,
one person goes missing.
One person goes missing, and it's like the Mounties. Call the Mounties.
In this movie, I feel like it would have been, even if it was Bob the garbage man was kidnapped, the SWAT team would have been there. Okay, that's just how it is.
All right, so
did you know when the SWAT team comes in, they say freeze, and she's got her hand on his pecker? That was completely made up by D'Angelo. Yeah. She just did it on the spot.
Oh, see,
she was amazing.
She's great.
I think she's a really good actress, and I think she's the character. I don't know why. I don't know. She's so fucking amazing as a wife. You're just like, fuck, dude. How many times this guy gets a free pass?
Well, in the next movie from this was Vegas, right? I think it was Vegas.
Yeah.
She actually took a lot more part.
Bigger role.
Bigger role in it. You could see in this movie that she needed it, and this wasn't there yet.
One of the things we didn't really talk about, which I think was kind of a pivotal scene in the movie, is when Clark is talking to Ruby Sue, which is Eddie's daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And they're sitting at the table, I think, and they're having this conversation about how Santa Claus, and how she doesn't really expect presents, and her expectations are so jaded based on what her parents have kind of not given her or created for her, that I think that Clark finds a little spark of the holiday season in the fact that he can help her. And I think that is a saving grace of the movie, one of the criticisms I have is that Clark is utterly irredeemable from the first part of the movie. He's an idiot. He gives away money for a pool. He relies on
But he does it out of the goodness of his heart and happiness for his family.
This is the redeeming factor. That's what I'm saying is you finally get redemption. You finally understand Clark as a character because it's not about the pool. It's not about the money. It's about the feeling he's trying to give to his family. And you really do kind of come full circle with his character from this. He's an idiot. He's an idiot who goes to get a Christmas tree without an axe. Like, he's an idiot.
I don't think
he's lovable.
But this makes him lovable. It creates
I don't think he's an idiot.
He came up with a cereal varnish. He can't be that dumb.
So he's not. He's one of those guys that's. I feel sad saying this, but I see myself a lot in him because it's like in my eyes, I can do this. Fuck it. I know I can do this. I got this. Let's fucking go. Go all the way down there, get the fucking tree. Did not bring the fucking saw at all. Like,
having done a renovation with this
call.
man.
Hey, bro, can you actually
where are you at?
So I'm going to tell a story about Eddie that Selena's going to be mad at, but I'm going to tell it anyway.
It's called street smart and boot smart.
All right, so
this guy, I feel like, has a lot of boot smart.
I agree.
But overall, street smart, he's lacking a lot in. And that's what he's trying to... He has a lack of... Okay, I want to be like that dad that leaves my kids have awesome memories. That's all he's looking for is like giving his kids memories like what he received. So he has the goodness of his heart.
But in the end, he does.
Yeah, he did.
And he does.
But overall, I don't see him as being dumb. I just see him as being uneducated in some areas.
I would say just it doesn't think things through. So I'm going to tell a story about Eddie that I think is absolutely perfect. Noah had just been born, and you were building the crib.
Yep, I remember this.
And he's building this beautiful crib. They bought this beautiful crib.
I built this crib.
And he's building
Time out. I built this crib at least 10 times.
Yeah. He's building the crib in the living room. And I get a call at I want to say it was 11:30, maybe 12 p.m.
Took me all
and he goes,
afternoon.
Sean, I can't get it into the bedroom because it's bigger than the door. And so he builds the whole crib in the living room. I come over. He goes, don't tell Selena. And we disassembled the crib in the living room, and we brought it into the bedroom, and we set it up. You just wanted a crib for your child. It was a very important moment.
And I had to do that. I did that in the living room. She's like, I'm going to watch a movie, and build this out in the living room, and then I'm just going to put it inside. So I didn't realize, shit, there's no way this is going inside the hallway.
This is why you guys have friends like me. Yeah.
But
we got it in.
It's funny now because I feel like that guy, yes, was like Clark. But now I could build that crib with my eyes closed. Like
Right.
I built that crib.
You've grown.
I've grown. I built that crib 20 times.
I mean, you did at
In and out,
least
in and out.
4% of your renovation on your house.
No. I tore that down by myself.
Yeah, you did do a lot of the demo.
Yes, I did all of them.
And I was the worker, actually.
With the electricity on. With the electricity on.
That a boy. Live on the edge. Make you feel like you're flying.
We had Tom, our friend, come over, right? And he's like, you did this all with the electricity on? And we both, my father-in-law and I, we looked at each other like, yeah, we probably should have turned that off.
Yeah. So Clark gets his bonus reinstated after his boss decides not to press charges.
And 10%.
And 20%
20%.
compensation. 20%
right.
compensation.
Made Clark pass out.
And the whole family goes outside to enjoy the Christmas star. I'm sorry, hold on.
It was the
shitter caught on fire.
It was a shitter caught on fire. Yeah.
Shot the Santa Claus.
Well,
up.
Uncle Lewis tosses the cigar, which triggers the explosion, which sends Santa into the sky.
the abyss.
Right, and the whole family's out there, and then Clark gets some little sugar from Beverly D'Angelo.
Booyah!
That's the
End
Christmas
movie.
present there.
And that brings us to the end of our review. And that brings us to the end of our review. Now it's time in the podcast where each of the hosts provides their score on our scale of 0 to 5. Eddie, can you take us through our scale?
I thought you were going to say fa la 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 la.
I'm trying to get into the. I'm trying to get into the fucking.
Wrong.
All right, so I just 0, the perfect movie. You don't need shit to enjoy it. 1, a feel-good first cocktail. 2, a happy buzz. 3, you're in the Uber or lifting home. 4, A Rough Morning Walk of Shame.
Walk of shame.
Yeah, I want to sound like the uncle.
Waka waka.
Yeah, the other with the hairpiece, the toupee on his
commercial.
head. 5, blackout, shit-faced, spring break drunk.
Spring break
All right, gentlemen.
By the way, if any persons or companies that advertise for Spring Break want to advertise with our podcast, we are soliciting anything we possibly can get as far as advertisers.
Advertise
We
for
have,
spring
uh,
break. It happens every year.
we have
like
a,
to drink.
Yes.
we
You
have
like
a lot,
to drink.
and we have a lot of listeners. So this is
And I will say it again, Pop Off Vodka. I'll even take them.
Okay.
Very bottom of the
the Russians.
Jack
huh?
Daniels,
All right,
give me
you
a call.
Yeah,
The Russians.
Chris,
all right?
let's start with you.
Hey,
Oh, sorry,
hey.
that's Eddie's part.
That's my part. Gentlemen,
Well, I think
let's
I've
start
already
with
taken
Chris.
over because of my superiority. I'm just saying.
Chris, let's see what you get.
Oh, there you go. So now you go. Okay, so yeah, it goes.
You remember the scores,
All right, so I remember the scores. I'm looking at them right here. I'm going to say that this is a 1 for me. I really
A
enjoy
feel-good
this.
cocktail. Wait, first.
I want to say it's a feel-good first cocktail. You know, I could actually do this straight out with a 0, but I always like to have a little buzz when I'm doing it. And I'll probably have 4 or 5 drinks, but it's because I want the drinks. So I'm going to give this one a 1. I like it.
Jared, what do you think?
Okay. Christmas Vacation, it's not one of my favorite holiday films. It's not because I don't like it. I just don't really care for it too much. It's just I've never been.
You don't like it?
No.
Exactly what that means, yeah. I don't like it. I just don't like it.
I think the story is just glued together for whatever reasons. But I'm going to leave it at this, that I think the highlight of the film is the third part of the film where the family gets together and the in-laws and the family dinner. I think that is the true holiday like classic where everyone can relate to that particular story and whatnot. However, yeah, I was going to rate this really, really, really high, but you guys kind of talked me out of it because there is a lot of good experience and a lot of good feels to this movie. Let's put it this way. This is no fucking Christmas Story. And I hate that movie with a fucking passion, with 1,000 suns.
You're going to shoot your eye out.
That is a 7.5 with a bloody
Fuck,
eye.
dude.
hanging
Not all
out.
the whiskey in Ireland can save that fucking film, dude.
The hell of a lamp.
For this is going to be an Uber or lifting home with a half a shot on that. So
a 3.5.
3.5 for me. Yes.
Okay. Eddie, why don't you tell us about it?
All right. So when I have 2 thoughts of this movie. So the first thought is I was instantly already going negative towards this movie before I watched it. I was just like, oh my
Did you
god.
talk to Sean beforehand?
No,
Okay.
I was just like, I think I was just in my head. I had this thought of like, okay, this is an older movie, and I remember this movie being a little funny, but I'm gonna watch it and just get through it. And then instantly, I started seeing little spurts and little like bits. It's like, oh my god, I see myself right there. Like I see that as me. Like I did that. I was not prepared. I tried to cut a Christmas tree with no freaking saw, the hand saw. I was like, oh, I did this. I was so unprepared with Christmas lights. I was the neighbors for at one point. I was the snooty neighbors with my wife and I. We were that couple at one time before we had kids. And then I was like, oh my god, I see my in-laws here. So I just started catching little things in here and there, and I felt this movie aged obviously really well. It's not my go-to Christmas movie. That's different. But overall, like, yeah, you're looking at me like it's a Home Alone. That's my go-to Christmas movie.
you,
Or Die
bro.
Hard, okay? Like,
Fuck
Die
yeah,
Hard.
dude.
That's one of the other ones I watch every year.
Yes, but this movie definitely, I laughed a lot. There's little areas that I definitely almost passed out a little bit because I watched this pretty much almost at midnight. I was really tired, but like I thought the movie did really well with how it wrapped up in some areas. There was some dead points. I'm not gonna say this movie is better than some of the other movies I have in my head, in my thought. So I'm gonna give this a 2.5. So I'm giving this movie Happy Buzz with a shot.
So that's about average movie.
Yes, I think it's a great movie that I can watch anytime, but I don't think it's one of the greats. That's
Okay.
how I look at it.
All right.
So would you like to say something,
I
Chris?
would not. I respect your opinion.
I gave it 2.5. All right,
You
gave it a
did,
1.
you did pretty good. A 1 is better than a 2.5.
Obviously, Sean, wrap it up.
All right. So I look at this movie on a couple of different lenses. The first lens is it entertaining? And I think that undoubtedly this movie is an entertaining movie. From start to finish, you've got physical humor. You've got Chevy Chase probably in his heyday, his glory. The best you'll ever see Chevy
Yes,
Chase.
I
He's
I agree with you
that.
100%.
He's
on
become not as funny. But I think that the premise was clean and tight, and there wasn't a lot of waste. You had great, memorable characters. It's 1989. It's 2019. We're still talking about great characters. We're still talking about Todd and Margot and the wet carpet. We're still talking about Cousin Eddie, and he's classic. So it's hard for me to kind of separate the mythos of this movie from the actual movie. It's almost more fun to quote and remember than it is to watch. And from that perspective, I think that it brings you into a world that you don't necessarily want to just jump out of. So it's not a bad movie, but it's also not a movie that I look forward to seeing every year. Every year I have to watch this movie, and every year I'm pleasantly surprised by it. And
exactly.
so for me,
and you quote it throughout the year,
right? And throughout the season, and every time I'm putting up Christmas lights, all I can think about is stapling through my glove,
Yes.
and then in your sleeve. Yeah.
So it's a movie that kind of it ties you to the Christmas season. And coming at this late, I was 32 when I saw this movie for the first time. I didn't experience it as a kid, and as an adult, I think it has way more impact than it does for kids. It's not a kids movie. It's more of a,
agreed,
to me,
100%.
it's between a 30 and 45-year-old right now.
It gets better of age.
Because this is the shit that we have to deal with in our age group.
Exactly.
So I think it's a better than average movie. I think honestly, I think it's a 2. It probably should be around a 1.5, but I think based on the scores, it should be a 2. It should fall into an average movie, a little above average. I think that's where it belongs.
I agree.
And I do think that as far as on the pantheon of Christmas movies, it's probably upper middle, but at the same time, it's not at the very top. So two is where I'm kind of settle. So when we combine the scores and divide by 4, Ed, where does it put Christmas Vacation?
All right, let me do my.
By the way, I wasn't allowed to get 0.5s. I didn't know that was a point thing.
Oh, a shot.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
See,
I
what
didn't
you should
know
do
that.
is you should listen to the podcast.
Well played, sir.
Yes. So we let me do my calculations here. It's 2.25. So
and on the list of movies that we've reviewed thus far, where does that?
well, hopefully this is the updated list I have in my hand here.
It's not. Hold on one second.
No, it's pretty
So
up
it's
there.
between. Well, I think it's between Tombstone and Twilight.
Tombstone and Twilight.
It's a 3-way tie. They all have a 2.25.
All right.
Twilight, Tombstone, and Christmas Vacation, which actually
So I feel like if we look at what Tombstone is for the Western genre
better
and
than
what
average.
Christmas Vacation
better
is
than
for the
average.
Christmas genre, it probably fits pretty well. It's really hard to kind of meld the different genres together on a list. Chris is
I would
shaking
agree
his
with that.
head.
I agree. I get what you're saying.
All right, if you enjoyed our review, one more time here.
Hey, just thank God we didn't do Christmas Story. Fuck that movie.
All right, if you enjoyed our review or a
I
fan
got a
of the
good quote
podcast,
for next one. Oh, sorry, Sean.
we ask you that you please subscribe wherever you're listening and leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. This is incredibly important. Please get out your fingers and thumbs and write us a 5-star review physically on the iTunes app. Next week, I believe we have another Christmas classic. Jeremy, what do we have on tap for next week?
Buddy, guess what we're going to be doing?
What are we doing?
A little elf.
Oh!
Hey, can I come back?
Yes, of course.
all right. Come on, Matt. I like it. Good job.
If you're interested, you can find us on Instagram at the.gentlemanpodcast. The dot means a lot.
That means a lot.
You can visit our website at thegentlemanpodcast.com. Or if you want to reach out, you can do so by email at hosts with an S at thegentlemanpodcast.com. I look forward to hearing a lot of complaints, particularly around the fact that our podcasts are longer than 54 minutes, which
Merry
I've had
Christmas, everyone.
literally 8 emails about how our podcasts are too long.
Was
Anyway,
it Grover?
it might have been. Where's the rule book? Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll see you on the other side. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers,
Thank
gentlemen.
you guys for having me.
Awesome. Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?
Was that our best one?